Sandberg now, with 2 men on, nobody out. Hits that ball on the nose deep to left field, going back in the corner. Fair, foul. A fair ball. Phillies open this one up 6-0 after the 3-run home run. There is 0 for 3. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Joe Price. Ground ball back to the mound. Price is up with it. He'll throw to first. Phillies are National League champions of 1982. They win Game 5 and win the series 4-1. The Phillies are on their way to the World Series to face the New York Yankees. And welcome in, everybody. JudgeMetalTV continuing with our 1982 Ryne Sandberg Stays in Philadelphia series. It is here, the 1982 World Series. There you can see Phillies and the Yankees getting ready to get underway. Best of 7 series. We're going to set this thing up real quick and then we're going to get into Game 1. So there you can see this is the playoff tree. You can see how the teams got to where they are. The Yankees 3-1 over a very good Oakland A's team. Kansas City swept the Tigers in the first round. 2 very, very good teams. I think they both won like 94, 95 games. The Yankees just took it to Kansas City 4-0 to get into the World Series. The Phillies knock off rival Montreal 3-1. Then the Reds did us all a favor and knocked out the Dodgers in the wild card round. We added a wild card to 1982. I should explain this. No wild card in the real world in 1982. We decided to expand the playoffs and add a wild card team per league. So you have this wild card round. National League Championship, the Phillies then go up against the Reds, beat them 4-1. So here we are. This is the World Series. Before we get to that, let's take a closer look at these Yankees. We have not played them all year because we did not add interleague play to this playthrough. So the Yankees win their division. They win the National League East by just 2 games. And this came down to the last few days of the season. Baltimore and Toronto both made runs at the Yankees. The Yankees pulled out in the end, but Baltimore and Toronto come up 2 and 3 games short, but they're not in the playoffs. Kansas City won 96 games there. You can see they were the wild card. So the Yankees very nearly missed the playoffs. They did get in, and you see what they did when we just looked at the playoff tree. So they took care of business. They are the American League champions. Quick look at the lineup there. You see Oscar Gamble hitting third with 28 home runs, 93 RBIs. Dave Winfield in left field, 30 bombs, 89 RBIs. Darrell Porter behind the plate hitting 288 with some pop. Our old buddy Manny Trio is the DH. Glenn Hubbard is at second base. I don't know how this series is going to handle the DH. We'll see when we play. I think back in 82 it would have been determined by the home team, but we'll find out in a second. And of course you got Bucky Dent at shortstop. Pitching rotation is interesting. Rich Gossage, longtime closer for the Yankees, is their number 1 starter, and I looked over his numbers. He's had a very good year in both the pen and in the rotation, but really good numbers, and he's actually pitching relatively deep into games. He's been able to throw about 6 innings a game. And there you see he's 15-5, a 2.81 ERA. Now, after that, this rotation gets interesting because the Phillies don't have a lot of lefties in the lineup, and they've got Mike Schmidt, Jack Clark, Lonnie Smith, Ryne Sandberg. These guys are all right-handed guys with some pop. So you would think that this is something that could work to the Phillies' advantage, having 3 lefties in a row, and Bannister, May, and then Guidry. We will see, because it doesn't always work out that way for the Phillies. We've had some success against lefties, but then again, at times, maybe underachieved there. So we'll see. This could be a factor. In the bullpen, Curran and Russell, your closer, your setup guy right there. Not terrible numbers, not great numbers. Vandenberg and Righetti are your lefties. A down season for Dave Righetti. That's a young Dave Righetti, I suppose, but a 5.43 ERA. Erickson and Boggs round out the bullpen. They're going to carry 10 pitchers, and that's kind of an 80s thing. That's what you carried. I actually carry an extra one. It gives me 1 less move, but in this series, if we have the DH, it shouldn't be a factor. All right, now let's flip back to our Phillies. The Phillies, 94 wins, won the division by 5 games. Montreal really made it close towards the end. The Phillies kind of backed into the playoffs, but now they've won the wild card, won the National League Championship Series. So things looking better right now. We'll start with pitching. Carlton pitched game 5 of the National League Championship Series, so he will not be available till game 3. So it'll be Christensen in game 1, Dick Ruthven in game 2. Carlton, if we get him in game 3, then he should be available for a game 7 if it's necessary. So you might see Steve Carlton twice in this series, and if you do, it will be a game 7. Pascual Perez will take the 4th game of the series, and he has done a very nice job. Bullpen, a little shaky in the playoffs. Tugger, 3.17 ERA in the regular season, 33 saves. Tucker, Price, Tekulve, very dependable in the regular season, have been shaky. This whole bullpen has been shaky. Joe Price has been hittable. He did get us through the Red Series. As I said, I am not 100% sure until I play this how this is set up for the DH. I think it's going to be no DH in Philly, DH in New York, but we'll find out. We are set for the DH though. Looking at our lineup with the DH against right-handers, if you've been watching this series, you know our lineup does not change much. Our starting 8, about the only thing that changes is Moreland comes in for Lee May. And in this series, with those 5 lefties in the 10-man pitching staff, you're probably going to see Keith Moreland more. With the DH against right-handers, it'll be Smith, Sandberg, Schmidt, Clark, May, Franco. Vukovic will play left field, Gary Maddox, and Larry Bowa. So against left-handers, Lonnie Smith will also DH. I have him DHing both because I think what that lets us do is it lets us put Dick Davis in left against lefties, and Vuk will get the start against right-handers. And then that way, if we need to make a change in left field because it's late and they've run through their lefties and we know we're going to see righties, we can make sure we got Vuk in the game and vice versa. Plus, Lonnie Smith does a really nice job for us in left field, but he does make that occasional error. I think Dick Davis is a little steadier in left, and Vuk is definitely a better outfielder. All right, well, here we are. We've already talked about the pitching matchup, so we don't have to get into all of that anymore. But like I said, we'll see. These 3 lefties against this right-hand-laden lineup of the Phillies should be very interesting. That's all the talking. It's time to get down on the field. Goose Gossage against Larry Christensen. Let's head down to the vet.